Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my top 20 favorite white cards for Commander play. People seem to have liked the green list, so I think I'm going to continue making some lists. The only real criteria I use is that at least 10 of the cards on the list are $20 or less, mostly just so everyone doesn't have to break the bank. I'm not as passionate about other colors as I am green, but I do have some staples you'll see in a lot of decks I use. A couple are niche, but you'll see them. Thought I'd start with Sara Avatar, a classic card. It's an angel, or avatar in this case. I think it's been added to angel, not sure. But it's 4 generic mana and 3 white mana for a star creature, and its power and toughness are equal to your life total. And if it's ever put into a graveyard, you shuffle it back into your library, so you get a chance to use it again. Life gain decks love this guy. But one thing you always got to build around in Commander are those cards you hate. Cards like Humility, cards like Topper Orb, cards like Trinisphere, if that's even allowed, I don't know. But there's a good white instant that'll do it for you. For 2 white, 2 generic, you can remove target artifact or enchantment from the game. If you play the spell during your main phase, you may remove up to 1 other target artifact or enchantment from the game. But you can also play it as an instant. Here I was going to put Cataclysm, but I thought about it, and Tragic Arrogance is generally a better card, I think. Now, there are some situations where Cataclysm will blow this completely out of the water, so be aware of Cataclysm. But for each player, you choose from among the permanents that players controls an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a Planeswalker. The player then sacrifices all other non-land permanents he or she controls. You get to pick what they keep. Soul Warden, there's not really much to say about this. This is a very old card, and it's a delicious staple in Commander. For 1 white, you get a 1/1. Whenever any other creature comes into play, gain 1 life. That is not a may, that is forced. Maybe you want a bigger beater kind of thing. How about a 6/6 legendary angel that costs 5 generic mana and 3 white mana, 8 total converted mana cost to play? Better be good. Well, she's amazing for a reason. She has flying, first strike, trample, haste, protection from black, protection from red. Attacking doesn't cause a Chroma Angel of Wrath to tap. It's a lot of abilities. A lot of game-winning abilities. Black and red are white's biggest problem when it comes to removal. This negates all that. And just all the other abilities are just so delicious. If you're playing pure white, you want that. This is one of the more niche cards, but a lot of Commander decks run equipment. A cheaper alternative for this is Stoneforge Giant. I think it was from Lorwyn or something, somewhere in that block. But this is my personal, I like this card a lot. 1 white, 1 generic for a core artificer. She is a 1/2. When she enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. And she also has the ability of 1 generic, 1 white, tap the Stoneforge Mystic. You may put an equipment card from your hand onto the battlefield. Equipment card like Battle Skull costs 5 to play, and then more to equip. This reduces that cost. This also allows you to play equipment during other people's turns if you so desire. There's a lot of tricky things you can do with this card, and if you can bounce it to your hand back and forth, like with that Eldrazi Displacer, more equipment for you. This one is going up in price, so grab this if you don't have it. Avacyn Angel of Hope, 5 generic, 3 white mana. For an 8/8, flying vigilance, indestructible. Other permanents you control have indestructible. It makes everything you play, from your lands to your creatures to your artifacts to your enchantments, extremely difficult to deal with unless they can, exile them. Great card. Enlightened Tutor. Very classic card. I'm showing the Eternal Masters printing here. For 1 white, it's an instant. Reveal or search your library for an artifact or an enchantment card. Reveal that card. Shuffle your library. Put that card on top of it. Naturally, you want to play this at the end of the turn before your turn, so you know that they're not going to mill it into the graveyard or something. You're guaranteed to draw whatever card you want as long as it's an enchantment or an artifact. Extremely useful in Commander. Kamigawa block printed as 5 legendary dragon spirits. Yosei, the Morning Star, was one of the strongest ones. You have 2 white, 4 generic. That's 6 converted mana cost for a legendary dragon spirit. It's a 5/5 with flying. That's already a great cost. Like, just great. But when it dies, target player skips his or her next untap step. Tap up to 5 permanents that player controls. You put 5 other things on lockdown for at least a turn. You can find a way to recur this. It gets ridiculous. This one could be controversial for some people, and I can completely understand. Some people really hate land destruction. Now, as a very classic white mage, value cards like Savannah Lions and White Knight, Armageddon is amazing. You play this when you have the edge, they're not going to recover. Because once you destroy all their ability to play anything, and you have the board on lockdown, that essentially means you've just won the game. Which is why it's kind of a contested card. Austere Command is a little more fair. People like it more. 4 generic mana. 2 white mana. That's a 6 mana sorcery. Better be good. Choose 2. Destroy all artifacts, or destroy all enchantments, or destroy all creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less, or destroy all creatures with converted mana cost 4 or greater. This could just be a 6 mana Wrath of God board wipe card to destroy all creatures if you just choose the 2 creature options. Or you can be real sneaky and blow up all artifacts and all high converted mana cost creatures, and you're playing nothing but weak ones, or low ones I should say. It's a card worth considering. This is a great commander. This is a great white card in general. And since you're in Commander, you can generally afford to play more higher casting cost spells. So play Elish Norn, Grand Cenobite. I prefer to call her Lady Gaga, that's just me. But she's a 4/7, doesn't tap to attack. Other creatures you control get +2/+2. Creatures your opponents control get -2/-2. Makes your creatures way stronger, makes theirs way weaker. Elspeth. Oh, what happened to you was so wrong. I try to keep Planeswalkers on these lists to a low. There's a few Elspeths that could take this spot, but my personal favorite came from the Theros block, and it was Elspeth Sun's Champion. For 4 generic mana and 2 white mana, you get a 4 loyalty Planeswalker with a +1 ability of put 3 1/1 soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield. That's 3, not 1. Then we have the -3. Destroy all creatures power 4 or greater. That's anything that's threatening to you. -7. You get an emblem with creatures you control get +2/+2 and have flying. This card can win the game all by itself if you protect it. Here's a way to protect some of your other creatures, though. Very classic, very, very efficient card. Mother of Runes. 1 white for a 1/1. Tap it. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. If someone's trying to blow up your creature with targeted removal, give it protection from that color. Maybe your opponent is playing, I don't know, let's say mono green. Attack with something huge and give it protection from green so that they can't block it. This card is crazy, 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 crazy good. If the reprinting helped its price, get it now. Sara Ascendant. This commander staple for a reason, I'll make it real clear to you. It's a 1 white for a 1/1 human monk with lifelink, so every damage it does, you gain that much life. That's awesome. As long as you have 30 or more life, Sara Ascendant gets +5/+5 and has flying. In Commander, you start the game at 40 life. So essentially what this is saying, if you play it in the first turn, is pay 1 white mana for a 6/6 flying lifelink. It'll win the game by itself. It's amazing. Sun Titan. Long ago, they printed a cycle of Titans, and then the green one got banned from Commander. But the white one's still here. It's a 6/6 vigilance for 6 converted mana cost. It's alright. Whenever it enters the battlefield, or whenever it attacks, you may return target permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's a lot of permanents in this game. and you get them back for free. Whenever you play this card, bounce this card, like with the Eldrazi Displacer, or whenever it attacks, which it'll do a lot because it's a 6/6, you get something back from your graveyard for free. So, with cards like Sun Titan, you could probably effectively keep another creature in play. And then, one of my favorite older cards, Worship, comes in. 1 white, 3 mana, 4 converted mana cost enchantment. Damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 instead reduces it to 1 if you control a creature. You cannot lose the game due to life loss so long as you can keep a creature in this card out. Life loss is one of the main ways to win. Wrath of God. You knew this was going to be on the list. You probably knew the next card was going to be on the list too, but it's pure efficiency. 2 white, 2 generic for 4 converted mana cost sorcery that destroys all creatures and they can't regenerate. Armageddon isn't fair, but this one is, and Armageddon's like easier to cost. It's ridiculous. They had no idea what balance was back in the day, and cards like Swords to Plowshares here prove that. 1 white mana, exile target creature, its controller gains life equal to its power. It's an instant. You can play this whenever they want. Sure, they're going to gain some life back, but you've just removed from the game probably the biggest threat for 1 white mana. Ridiculously efficient. If you can't find a Swords to Plowshares, and that's fair. It's an older card. The reprint was recent, but I don't know how much that got into supply. There's an equivalent called Path to Exile. Instead of the opponent gaining life, they get to go get a basic land and put it into play. And it's pretty much just as good. The last card we're going to go over today is one that a fair amount of people don't know about, and that's a shame. It even has Elish Norn on the picture, Lady Gaga herself. 2 white mana and 3 generic for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures, they can't be regenerated. However, you may also cast Rout anytime you could cast an instant if you pay 2 more generic mana to cast it. That bumps it up to 7 mana, but that's an instant speed Wrath of God. Whenever you want to cast it, so long as you have 7 mana. This card is amazing, and I'm surprised more people don't know about it. That's pretty much the list. Why don't you guys like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy these lists. Tell me if you're a white mage. What are your favorite white cards? I'm certain I've left some people's favorite white cards off this list. And until next time, this is Dottie Sam. Bye-bye.